Godzilla Minus One is my favorite Godzilla movie of all time. The reason it's my favorite and I put it above 54 is because it is 54. But it's 54 made with better technology. Those train scenes where it was just models, right? You're able to see the characters in there swinging off, and the way she falls in the river. The characters of Koichi and Noriko are just amazing. They're perfectly well written. What straightens it even more is the fact that they're not even married. Yet they support each other every step of the way. The way she tries to comfort him when he starts to not believe anything around him. I have not been this emotionally invested ever in a film. I put it at number 2 next to Scarface because you don't know how I felt throughout the middle of the movie. After he shot the atomic breath, I was shaking. I wanted to go to the bathroom because the movie was too intense in that moment for me. And I couldn't even get up because I was just shaking. I was like, ooh! Did 30,000 people actually die? I've never been so in a movie. This movie balances dark and light just so well. The moments of warmth, the color choices, the color of yellow. Just that scene when Noriko got the job and Koichi is just there seeing the yellow sunlight spill across her face and that smile. That is one of the warmest scenes I've ever seen in a movie. Just the uses of aqua blue for all the dark scenes of death. I love how it treats its audience smart too with its writing. I love that moment when Tachibana tells him that there's an ejection seat, but you don't know, right? So with how awful the situation's been throughout the whole movie, you don't know if he's actually saying that because when the camera zoomed out, right, and you just see him whispering something, I knew this gotta be an ejection seat because he wants him to live. But then you're thinking, damn, when he flies that plane, could he actually die? And that's what I love about this movie. You don't know. Same as the wife being alive. When the telegram reached the aunt, I'm like, no. This movie's too hopeless to do that. But yet, at the end, it's hopeful. And just the switch of 180 at the end once they take down Godzilla and seeing the family, everyone lived on that boat. Talk about patriotism right there. Just the way the Japanese people unite. And I think it just even is more enhanced the fact that they went through World War II. And that's something that's mentioned throughout the whole movie. And I just think it's a central aspect of it. It just amazes me how this movie can balance so many great dramatic themes. Family, patriotism, life. We live in a generation where there's so many things chipping us away by the day. And I just feel like humanity is more sensitive these days, according to what can break them to death. And I just love how this movie has a powerful message about life. Just live. And I don't think there could be a better message in today's movies. So Koichi was played by the actor named Kamiki. And I gotta say, man, your eyes, it's all in the eyes. That's the way you get most of your emotion through. Even in the scenes where he's not reacting, in these bored scenes where they're planning to kill Godzilla. But his eyes, just so much hatred. You see death in his eyes. You see, the man sees red. And another thing I love about this movie is how involved the characters are in the final act, There's so many Godzilla movies where they're just 3 characters, right? They're just like, huh, that building, oh, that's gone. Oh, he killed a monster? Yeah! But I love how this movie, you got Yoji, the captain, the naval captains, Noda, they're all there in their ships, they're all doing stuff, they're all yelling, they're all pulling cables and stuff. And you got Koichi flying the plane. You can't be more involved in a final battle than that. Director Takashi said that some of his favorites are GMK, Shin Godzilla, and of course 54. But GMK stands out to me because that is one of my favorite Godzilla movies. It's the first movie I ever watched when I was 6. It's because Godzilla was such a villain. When I saw that movie and we had that hospital scene where his tail slammed through that girl in the hospital, and I'm like, damn, imagine there was a whole movie like that. And that's this movie. This movie is those dark scenes of GMK taken to the extreme. This movie is extreme. Also, the movie even knows how to be funny. It doesn't have to be so bleak all the time. I love how when the characters are together looking for the mines, they're just bantering with each other, making fun of each other. I just love the humor in it when they're making fun of him. That, oh, you're family at the dinner scene is so sweet. There's 2 movies I have to talk about that I love that inspired this movie. I can just see it through the screen. And that is Jaws and Dunkirk. I mean, there's no better relation to Dunkirk than that scene when all the tugboats come to help. I just love the scenes with the planes. It just feels like this movie was directed partly by Christopher Nolan. And I say that because this movie just feels like a masterpiece. It's professionally done. The Jaws references could not be any more clearer. The scenes when they're trying to shoot the mine like Brody did with Jaws and the air tank. It's just Jaws on steroids. That's all I can say. One thing I gotta talk about is the soundtrack of this movie. It is perfection. I know like every single name of the score because I've listened to it so many times. My favorite ones are Resolution and Pride. Resolution because I've ran so many times around my neighborhood with this song when I'm doing exercise. Pride I love because it has just this very patriotic undertone to it. The Godzilla suites, I love how they didn't fill it with chanting, you know? They didn't touch it, they just made it punchy. I love hearing the bit of Godzilla versus Kong in there from 62 and from the Mothra theme when the train and Noriko was hanging off. I just love hearing those bits. It's almost like Mothra and the other monsters are there in spirit, but letting Godzilla have his moment just for this movie. And when that final suite started playing and you hear those bits of Destroyer, right? When it was da-da, da-da, the punch of that. Oh, and that shot of the camera going around Godzilla when he's about to fire the final atomic breath to kill everybody when you think their plan failed, that is the scariest shot I have ever seen of Godzilla. His eyes, it kind of had those 54 eyes, right? You know, those googly eyes, but they're very humanoid. And that shot had so much power, the camera just going around him and they start shaking more because it's becoming in front of the mouth. That is right there nightmare fuel. I love that shot. That's probably my favorite shot of Godzilla in this movie. I support this Godzilla and I can't wait to see what the director has in store for the next movie because that ending just sent chills. I'm like, God, after all that, I am thankful. You know, I've never come out of a movie thanking my life that I was able to live in this time period when this movie came out. I've never done that before. I am thankful for this movie. I'm thankful to be alive to see the reactions of everyone to this movie. It is a beautiful piece of filmmaking, and I think it'll be remembered for centuries to come. So that is my review, the perfect Godzilla movie. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Kaijuzilla 621, signing out.